Hello everyone, this is Rachel from Sweet Bee Paper Co. How are you? I hope you are doing well in the new year. Today I am here with the start of a new series on my channel where we are doing Pinterest inspired pins. And I'm so excited today because of course, like when you save something on Pinterest, it starts showing you more and more of like that same kind of pin or craft. So as soon as I saved one, more of these started showing up in my feed, and I was like, I really want to try to make these. So I've made one as a little tester. So what we are going to do today are make some faux film slide ephemera pieces for us to use in our journals or whatever else we make. And I made one as a little tester to see how it went, and it went okay. It's so cute. I used a little vellum piece for the inside, sewed around it to kind of try to make it look a little vintage, like it maybe needed a little bit of repair along the way. I really like how it turned out. My thing with these is the size, is that they are so tiny. They're very small. It's a 2-inch square, and the inside window is very small, 0.75 by 1.25 inches for this. So I want to show you how I made this one. I'll probably make a couple of these little small ones, and then I want to make a couple bigger ones. So these are just 3x5 index cards that I've coffee sprayed with coffee. So these are just some 3x5 index cards that I've sprayed with some coffee. I will link a video below showing how I make these. They're really easy. I make a bunch at once. I did all of these today. They're super easy to make and to dry really quick in your oven if you want to use your oven to dry. But well, I guess that one got stuck in there. But they're so easy, and it's kind of nice to have a bunch of these just like ready for projects. So I've kind of made some little faux windows with these. So I want to make some bigger ones because I love these, but they're a little tedious, and I just kind of want to try some bigger sizes as well. So let's get started. And as always, if you make these from my video, make sure you leave me a comment below or tag me on Instagram so I can see what you make, as I would love to see. So I'll just leave that one up there. I will link this website below where I got these measurements from. It linked to a website from 2010, and the photos on her website don't show up anymore, but the directions and the measurements do. And that's what I was really looking for these, because all I could find was that they were 2-inch squares. Well, I wanted to know how big the negative opening was in these. Her website had that listed down, so I want to make sure if you want to check that out, you do, because that was so helpful. So what I did to start this was I took one of my note cards and I cut this down to 2 inches by 4 inches because we're going to fold it over and make a sandwich. So let's cut a few of those down. So 2 inches by 4. You are left, if you use the index cards, you are left with these nice size scraps that you can use for tabs or whatever. So what I did too before I cut the rest of these is I just made some like stencils basically for me to use. That way I could just trace around them. This one, they're made out of cardstock, and I should have made this 2x4. But if you want, that makes it a lot easier to just measure that and cut that out once. That way you can just trace around it when you are making your cards. Okay, I've got mine all cut. So they are 2 inches by 4 inches. So now I'm just going to fold it in half. And I'm going to take the little stencil I made and trace around it. I'm just trying to make sure I kind of have it in the middle between the top and the bottom. Oh, I forgot my own little my own tip. So what I did with the other one, and man, did it save me some heartache, especially with this pencil. It does not erase clean. When you go to trace this, put it on the inside of your card and find your middle there and trace it down. That way you're not having to erase your lines on the really pretty outside stained part. So I'm just going to fold it over, kind of bend it a little bit and cut through both layers and cut this little square out. This is the part that I dislike the most. You could use a ruler and an X-Acto knife, or however you want to do it. I find just using little scissors work best for me. So if you open it back up and fold it down, there is your little window. You don't have to worry about getting rid of those pencil marks on either side. So if you're wanting to kind of replicate what the slides look like, the edges are rounded on those. So you can use your scissors to just cut a little rounded edge. I have this We Are Memory Keepers little corner punch, and I like to use this 4mm punch. That's what I used on the other one, and it's just a very small curve to it. So there it is. So I'm going to get the rest of these cut up and I will be right back. Okay, I've got all of my little slides cut out. I've got them all inked except for this one. I want to show you, when you go, if you are inking these and you want to ink up the inside edges of this, just kind of hold this in your non-dominant hand and just kind of rub the foam on there. It's kind of hard to go back and forth, but if you just kind of dab at it there, you'll get a nice inked up edge. And then the outside, just, these are very inexpensive note cards, so they're really flimsy. But I've also got my little vellum papers picked out. You don't need to use vellum. I like to use it, and I use it for that other one because you can kind of see through it. So I've got a few picked out. Also, if you have something that's very opaque, or you are not using vellum, whatever, you don't have to cut out your backing for your slide. You can just cut the one layer. So this was out of that little book I'll show you. So I want to use this little bird for this one. And since it's not see-through, there's no reason for me to move the backing out. Even so, you really, if you have blank note cards, you could leave the back on there. That way you could see the vellum image a little bit clearer, since you will have something behind it. That's always a possibility too. I use line 1, so I really don't want to have that through the vellum. But this one is a little darker. I could do that with this one, but that's what we got going on. I only inked one side of these. It's up to you if you would like to ink both sides. So next, what I have, I want to show you, this is where I got all these little images, vellum images out of. I think I got this on AliExpress. I'm not really remembering. I thought it was just mushrooms, but there was only a few mushrooms in this. It's got people, it's got advertisements. One of the ones I picked out to use today is the Morton's Salt Girl with the umbrella, which is really cute. So I'm going to do one vertical with her. Isn't that cute? How you decorate these is entirely up to you. I did all of this stamping before I put the vellum piece on, and then I glued this on top. So the stamps I used is from the Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz set. It's called Field Notes. If you can get your hand on this set, it is an amazing stamp set to use with numbers too. It's really good. I've used it several times. I love it so much. I've only not used a couple of the stamps in here because I have a bunch of frame stamps, but they are great stamps to use. And they're smaller, so they fit on here really well. Another option is the postage rubber stamps. I will have these linked below. I found these on Amazon. So how I made this one here, I had some cardstock. This is really thin cardstock left over from cutting something else out. And so I stamped a bunch of those stamps on there and cut them out and inked it up. And it gives this really nice contrast of a little bit of different color on there. I really wanted to add more and more color, but I had to keep reminding myself is that these are going to be going on a page that probably already has a main focus or already has some color or something else going on. And I don't want to add too much else to it. So I think I'm going to keep my stamping and decorating at a minimum for these. What else for those? I have 2 script stamps that I like to use like for the background. I have that really tiny one and this bigger one. I think this is a Stamper Anonymous background stamp. I will have this one linked below in my Amazon links. This came in another set of some other ones, I think with some music stamps. I don't like to use it too much because it's just so small. I really like using the bigger one because it just kind of spreads out. But on something very tiny like this, it's not too bad. I think it looks all right. That's pretty much it. I will stamp one with you and then do the rest. And I also have these other stamps, some butterfly stamps too out just in case I want to use those for something else. I also have this little bamboo one I thought might be kind of neat. On the corner. Let's try that. I think this came in a sticky club. Every once in a while they would send little stamps. It's kind of interesting. I'm not sure. I think this stamp looks better as a whole stamped image rather than just a little bit. So I'm just going to add a little bit of the script stamp, kind of maybe at an angle. We'll do this one. Yeah, so however you decorate these is entirely up to you. I would just stick with some smaller stamps if you want to be able to have all of it kind of on there. Let's put this in the middle. Maybe a little offset. Ooh, I got a really interesting stamp with that one. I'll do the round received. I love that one. That one looks really nice. I'll just leave that out. I know I'll use it on a bunch of them. Definitely want to use one of these little tiny ones I stamped on the cardstock to kind of maybe put on top of where that bamboo stamp was. Now, if you are planning on sewing around the edges, which is totally optional, that if you don't have to do that. If you're putting extra bits on here, try to keep them away from the edge so you're not having to sew through those. I love how that is looking. Isn't that cool? Okay, let's go ahead and pick out which one we want to put in this one. Let's audition. Is this upside down? There we go. I had it upside down. That's pretty much what I did going through that little book, is just take one of these and hold it over and see which one I like, or which ones fit, patterns fit. That's so cool looking. So this fits in there pretty well without having to move it. So that first one I had to trim down because of where the image was on the paper. So like this one, I'll have to trim this bottom part off. But the more you can kind of leave on to just grab with the glue, you know, it isn't bad. I'm just not going to trim it off. I like that. Yeah, let's use this one with the bamboo. So what I'm going to do is use a little bit of liquid glue. Just make sure you're done stamping before you go to put in whatever you're using as your negative, I guess, or your film. So I'm just going to take a little bit of liquid glue and just put a little bit wherever your piece is going to go. I don't put it too close to where I cut out because I don't want the glue to spill over. And since I'm using this and not my glue stick, this vellum is going to try to curl. So next, I'm just going to put just a little bit of glue on top of those, and then on the note card itself, just a little tiny bit. I basically just want it to stay shut while I'm sewing around the edges. So if you aren't planning on sewing, I would definitely add a lot more glue like around the edges there, just so you know it's going to stay. And I didn't fold very well, so I'm just going to ink up those. I really don't want to trim them off, and I'm just holding it to make sure it stays shut. So now with these, basically I took a 3x5 index card and my 2.5 or my 2-inch punch, put it over the edge and punched it out. So what I plan on doing is basically the same thing for these, just bigger. I wanted some bigger ones to do too. Okay, that one is done, and I'm gonna let these dry a little bit before I sew them down. So I'm going to get the rest of these stamped up, and I'll show you what I plan on for these big ones. I've got all of these done, stamped, and got the glue drying. I did switch out this one for, well, I put the house one in instead. I was trying to use one with people in them for most of them, and when I put it in, I really didn't like it. So I've got these two bigger ones, and like I said, these are just 3x5 index cards. I folded in half. I used my 2-inch circle punch. You can use anything around your house that's round. I'm not sure how well this is going to go. I have not tested this one out, so we're going to just try it. If I ruin it, I ruin it. So I want to make this one more like a little specimen card and have like this kind of floating in the middle. This is a sticker. So what I want to do is take some packing tape. And I know this is too big, but it's got kind of a line in it. And I'm going to put the packing tape over the circle. And it looks like it barely covers it. Okay, the tape barely covered this little circle, or this circle. So I don't really want to fold this over. So I'm just going to trim it off. So now the sticky side is going towards the back. And I just need a tiny little sliver. Okay, so now there's cat hair. Of course there is. So I had planned on just putting the mushroom on top of that and not actually having it in the middle. But I kind of think, I'm going to take the mushroom off of the backing. So this is the back of my card. I have this in front of my face so I can kind of get it in the middle, and then I'll show you. I think that's okay. I was going to put the, oh no. I was going to put the mushrooms sticker on top of that, but I think it looks okay. I think it actually looks better behind the tape. So then I'm just going to put a layer of tape on top of this. This is probably a really odd way of putting this together, but I wasn't sure how I wanted to do it. And that's kind of what I get for waiting until I record to test something. So now we have the tape piece on the back of it and not confined inside the card. So if you want to do this differently, what I would do is take your tape and make like a tape sandwich with whatever you want to have as like your specimen. So other stickers you could do, stamped, vellum, whatever it is, and then put it inside your piece. I think that'd probably be the easiest way to go, but I did it a little backwards. It's okay. I am going to sew this. I hope I didn't put like too much tape on the inside. That was what I was trying to avoid, was using too much tape so I could sew, but I kind of think that didn't really work out the way I thought it would anyway. What a surprise. But you never know until you try, right? But I love that. It's so cute. Okay, the other big one I wanted to do is this piece of cardstock. I kind of want to have the pumpkin like kind of right at the bottom. So I need to trim this a little bit. It's because now I kind of want to do like the tape so that it kind of looks like a package. Let's trim this down a little bit. I don't want to make sure I don't trim off too much. So I'm just going to put tape over it. Oh, I kind of like that. So I need just a little smidge of tape at the top. That's so cute. Okay, let's glue this down. Position it where we want it. And then I'm going to add a line of glue around, maybe a little through the top. Oh, I'm definitely going to have to hold this down. So while after these dry for a few minutes, I'm going to take them all through my sewing machine. I'll show you when they're all done. Okay, I am back. Oh, you guys, these turned out so adorable. I love them so much. Oops, that's upside down. They're going to be so cute to include in stuff we make. They're so neat. I will put them behind some paper here in a second so we can do a little close-up of them. To be honest, I did not think I was going to like the small size. I thought that was going to be too small, too boring. You could barely see anything. But now having them made up, I love them. I love them so much. They're so cool. Perfect size to put on a page. So you could do so many different things with these. I know I used stuff from this vellum pad. You do not. You can use whatever you have. I had a sticker sitting here I thought about using that I had cut off. For those, I thought about using, that moth or butterfly would be really neat as like a little specimen card. And I still may do that because there are some bugs in here and that would be so cool. I have other little ephemera bits that are little die cuts that might be kind of neat. There's so many possibilities to these, and especially this size. I also had gotten out some of these peel off clear. These would have been neat too to use. And trust me, I'm probably going to make a bunch more of these. And I also forgot I get going with like one thing and then I just kind of stick with it because I get excited. Like these little vellum sheets, but these stickers from Sticky Club would have been kind of perfect too to use on a few of them maybe. So you could also do you could use clear tape or laminate through those too to do other little bits. These are all from Sticky Club. So something like that would be even fun for the small ones if you've got some tiny stickers or washi tape. The possibilities are endless. But like I said, if you end up making these after watching my video, please let me know so I can check your creations out. Oh, I didn't even think about adding some sentiments to them. I don't think I will. I don't think I will because of using that other stamp set. I think if I made some that weren't so grungy looking, I might. But I love the grunge. I love how that looks. And I really like using like the coffee sprayed paper because that already gives you that vintage-y look to stuff. So you don't have to do a lot of extra work. These don't take me long at all to get made up. And I use 2 huge like sheet pans to lay these out. And when I do them in the oven, it's just a couple minutes to dry. And since you're not saturating them, they really, you know, don't take a lot of time anyway if you just leave them dry. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to continue doing Pinterest inspired pins. Check out my Pinterest links below. If you see something on there that we haven't made yet, let me know. I can try to do them. I really want to kind of stick to like kind of just pictures, not following someone else's tutorial, so we can try to figure out how to make it on our own. But if you enjoyed the video, please hit like, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!